January 14th, 2016. I had went to the hospital to visit my sister who had just given birth to my nephew. I'm not really into babies, having none of my own, but in my family, if someone gave birth, you showed up and welcomed the new baby into the world. I always felt it was a stupid tradition. However, I was not about to fight with my parents over it. They paid for my college, my car, and my insurance, and I was not about to risk making them angry enough to stop paying for it. That's another thing my family was good at, ostracizing those family members that they deemed had crossed a line. They could have my entire family treating me like an outsider, so I went to the hospital and made my appearance, making sure I spoke with enough people that could back me up later that I had been there. After about an hour, I left the hospital, got into my Civic, and headed out to meet up with some friends. We were going to hit the clubs and see what kind of fun we could get ourselves into. I remember hearing the screech of brakes and then nothing for the longest time, followed by an insane ringing in my ears that gradually subsided. I could feel blood trickling down my face and neck as I looked around. I knew I had been hit, but had absolutely no idea what had happened to cause the wreck. I went to reach my hand for the car door to exit my vehicle when I realized I couldn't use that arm at all. My shoulder was popped completely from the socket, and now the pain was beginning. Using my other arm, I managed to free myself from the seat belt and then reached across my body and opened the passenger door. Next, I fought back the pain and half crawled, half fell out that door to the cold ground. Using all my strength I had left, I tried to stand but collapsed instead. I'll just lay here, I thought. I had no clue how broken my body actually was at this point. I just knew I hurt all over and blood kept getting in my eyes. Before I crossed over to the other side, I saw a man walking up to me. He told me not to move, that help was on the way. He may as well have been speaking another language, though, because I was looking at the angel standing behind him. "Can you see him?" I asked. I don't recall getting a reply. Oh, the man was still beside me, and I could see his lips moving, but I could not hear a word he was saying. Then I was standing over myself and the man who was trying to help me. I saw he had one of those first aid kits like you might buy online for keeping inside your car, and he was attempting to stop the bleeding to my head. Now I looked at the angel standing next to me and asked him, "Now what?" To which he replied, "Now we go." The angel and I began to ascend into the sky and towards a tunnel, for lack of a better word. This tunnel was like a vortex from the earth realm to the other side. I wasn't afraid, and I noticed that I no longer felt any pain. I am not sure if I had a body still or not. It felt like I did, but I never actually saw a body. It was a strange experience, which is probably like calling the grass green or the sky blue. Of course it was strange. It's not every day you get to transition from earth to paradise or heaven, or whatever you want to call it. Inside the vortex, we traveled at great speeds for some time. I can't say for how long, because time did not exist once I departed the earthly plane. It's like everything over there happened simultaneously and not on a linear timeline as it is here. In the distance, I saw a speck of light that grew bigger and brighter the closer we got to it. It was not to be our destination, though. Upon exiting the vortex, the angel and I landed softly in the middle of a park. I could now see many people walking around as if they all had somewhere to be. They moved with a purpose. "Where are we?" I asked. "Is this heaven?" "No," the angel replied. "You can't enter heaven because you are not dead yet. This is one of many places we bring souls who will be sent back to earth." "If I'm being sent back anyway, why not just leave me there?" I asked. "I was instructed to bring you here, so here is where you are until I get further instructions," the angel stated. I should also mention that whenever I talk about what the angel and I said to each other, it was always in the form of thoughts. We did not actually speak a word out loud. All communication on the other side is in the form of telepathy. It's like thinking a question and immediately hearing the answer in your head. After some time, the angel asked me, "While we wait, would you like to take a look around?" To which I, of course, replied with a yes. I was shown many buildings and had their functions explained to me. I saw a great center of knowledge which looked like a huge library. The angel said it was home to all knowledge that ever existed or would exist. I asked if I could see inside it, and he gave me a tour. Inside I saw other people standing in front of screens, which displayed whatever it was they wanted to learn about. I wanted to try out one of the screens, but the angel told me that was only allowed for souls that would be staying, and since I would be returning to Earth, he could not allow it. I left that building with the secrets to the universe still unanswered. Finally, this angel told me it was time. We had to go see the Creator, and he led me into a great room with a light in the distance. As we approached the light, I could now tell there was a throne with the Creator sitting on it. Angels stood off to the side singing praises to God. It was the most beautiful music I had ever heard, and we have nothing like it on earth. The angel I was with told me to approach the Creator and state my case. My case for what, I asked. Your case for staying here. Every soul always wants to stay. Only he can grant you permission. I had not really thought about it because from the time I was informed I would be going back until now, I never considered staying as an option, but since it was, I thought, why not? I did my best, or so I thought. Now looking back, I am sure he has probably heard every argument for staying anyone could come up with. My own lame argument was only 3 words. I want to. As soon as I said those words, the light from the Lord began to radiate towards me, surrounding me. It felt like it was almost scanning me, but for what I don't know. It felt like he had looked inside my very existence and learned everything about me in a second. Every sin, every truth, every misdeed, every thought and action on full display. It was then that he spoke. His voice was soft yet firm. You still have things you have to accomplish. You must go back. I was afraid to ask why, as he was the Creator of everything. His will be done. I woke up in the hospital. My injuries included a dislocated shoulder, which I already knew about, but extended to a brain bleed, which caused swelling and resulted in me having to have fluids drained. The paramedics told my parents I seized twice on the way to the hospital. My airbag had not deployed during the wreck, and police on the scene ruled the accident was not my fault. The lady that hit me was drunk and suffered no injuries herself. I asked about the man that had began first aid on me so that I could thank him, but was told police were first on the scene and nobody had applied first aid at all until paramedics arrived. I still have trouble out of my shoulder, especially if I sleep on it funny. Did I have a near-death experience?